is that you're going to have all of that additional social proof along with more success stories and reviews, along with you should have a significantly higher conversion rate because you're literally offering better than zero risk.
You're listening to the Brand Growth Project with Rob J. Green and Ryan McKenzie. And today we're talking about money back guarantees, risk reversals, and how you can use that to increase your sales.
Awesome, Ryan. Thanks for that intro. And I'm interested to talk about this one today because I think that when it comes to money back guarantees, you see that virtually every brand that you look at, if you start to go and look at the footer of their site and you go and look to see what their return policy is, et cetera, most companies offer some sort of a 30-day money back guarantee. But I think that within that, I see everyone's offering this, right? But that they're not necessarily leveraging that guarantee in a way to actually help them generate sales and actually help them increase sales and increase their conversion rate. And then there's some other elements. I think we were just talking about this, and I think it's a really interesting subject around not only money back guarantees, whether to have them, not have them, how to use them, different types of money back guarantee or different types of guarantees. But yeah, I think it's a really, really interesting subject and kind of overlooked a lot of times because everyone just defaults to 30-day money back guarantee, hide it on a page in your footer, and that's what everyone else does. So that's what I do as a brand, right? Like that, it seems to be very much an afterthought most of the time and not leveraged and not used in the ways it can be.
Totally. And I mean, first of all, we should kind of identify why these money back guarantees are actually in the majority of offers. And when you kind of sneak it into the footer, you're kind of eliminating the benefit for your business because the purpose of a money back guarantee or a quote unquote risk reversal is to position your product in a way that your guarantee makes the purchase a no-brainer. You want your consumer to basically read your copy, get an emotional response to whatever it is they're potentially going to buy. But when they're on the fence and they're trying to make a decision on whether this is going to be the right thing for them, the risk reversal or the money back guarantee is designed the purpose behind it is to make them think, well, there's absolutely no risk in me making this purchase. If there's this 30-day money back guarantee, or there's this double your money back guarantee, or this is keep the original product and we'll send you another one, or whatever it is, that is basically supposed to be there to neutralize the logic in their brain that's making them sit on the top of the fence. And when you hide it at the bottom of your page or you stash it somewhere because you just want to have the same offer as the competitor, you're really doing yourself a disservice.
For sure. And it's interesting when it comes to, because if you think of any transaction, right? In this case, we're usually talking about a purchase, right? But this actually is with any transaction that occurs. But in a purchase situation, when let's say that someone comes to your site, right? And they see a product and there's no guarantee whatsoever, right? Then what's happening is that person, that user, that potential customer, if they make the purchase, they are taking on 100% of the risk, right? In that scenario. So they are taking on all of the risk here, right? They have to, fully now believe that your product can help them. They have to trust you, all of these pieces that they have to be, all of those trust elements and proof elements, etc., have to be so strong if they're going to take on all of the risk in the relationship. And whereas if we say, hey, 30-day, no questions asked, money back guarantee. When we say that, we're basically saying to them, hey, give us a try, but there's no risk to you. And if you look at the different companies online that have different types of offers around this, different types, well, not offers, but different types of risk reversal, there's different levels of how much we can take the risk as the brand, right? And take the risk off of that person. So if you think of in a physical retail setting, somebody comes in, they make the purchase, and then you can come and return the product, let's say up to 30 days later. So now what happens is they have no risk, they have no monetary risk, right? They can make the purchase. If they don't like it, they bring it back. But there's still actually some time risk, right? They still actually have to come back to the store and return it. The same thing happens online with how are we handling that money back guarantee? Is it that we ship it to them and then they have to ship it back at their own cost? Or are we paying for the return shipping as well? Who, if they're exchanging it for a different size, who pays for the shipping of the new product out? So these are all kind of questions that the more of these pieces we take on as a brand, the more we're taking on the risk and making the sale easier, if less friction, right? There's less friction to that sale and less proof elements, less trust elements. All of those pieces don't have to be quite as strong to get that sale if we can take as much, if not all, of the risk off of the prospect.
Totally. And this becomes like even more apparent in markets that have a lot of competition. Like for instance, just recently, I was looking to book a hotel down in Seattle, and I was using Trivago, which is this Canadian aggregator of travel deals, and they try to give you the best prices. And, you know, in the afternoon, it was like $176 a night. In the morning, it was $140 a night. It was all over the place. And I was just waiting and waiting and waiting to make the purchase, to make sure that I was trying to get the best deal. And there are a few companies out there, none that were available in the hotel space at the time when I was looking, but that will actually give you not only will they give you a guarantee, but they'll give you a price drop guarantee. So you can go and buy your hotel or your airline ticket or whatever it is, 3 months out. And if the price happens to go lower in the time frame between your purchase and your trip, they will actually refund you that difference. So like the guarantee can take a lot of different forms, right? So in that particular case, you're pretty much guaranteed to get the lowest price. It's gonna stop you from waiting around and price shopping, because that's covering both that time aspect that you just talked about, as well as the financial risk of trying to wait for a better offer. So there's a lot of different ways that these can present themselves.
For sure. And if we think about the how we then use these, right? Because what we're talking about here is like, number one, don't bury these guarantees, right? Don't bury them on a return policy page on your site or anything like that. And actually, what you were talking about is like when you're looking at some of these travel sites. I'm pretty sure Priceline has some sort of low price guarantee thing. I think that Expedia does something similar. Like, go and look at what, if you're looking at this of how to make this work for your brand, go and look at what some of those companies do and how front and center they put those offers. Or those, I guess not offers, those guarantees, right? Where they put that risk reversal. And then the same thing, if we think about a company like Zappos, right? That came into the market and made something that's very difficult to make work at scale online, which is the selling of shoes, right? Shoes are one of the harder things, they are one of the harder things to sell online, because people are very picky about how shoes fit. Especially if we're talking about different brands and all of that, shoes fit quite differently. So how could they remove all of the risk, right? And if you go and look at their risk reversal, they did a very, very good job making sure that they were taking on the risk, right? And by doing that, it allows people to, without any risk on their part, be able to buy shoes, get them home, try them on, and without any worry, send them back. And I think that piece there, if you were to try and make Zappos work without the risk for reversal that they have, it wouldn't work the same, right? If you didn't have that ability. And then with that, the other piece is put that up front. Use that as part of that sales mechanism, because the number of people who will, if your risk reversal is really strong, the number of people who will purchase because your guarantee is strong, because they don't have to take the risk, will massively, the number of extra people who purchase will massively outweigh the number of people who take advantage of your guarantee. You know, like if you offer a really good guarantee, there's just not that many people who are going to go out of their way to try and rip you off with your guarantee. Not nearly as many as will make a purchase that they weren't going to make because they know they aren't taking on the risk themselves.
Totally. And I think one of the interesting things about what you said about Zappos is I think what they did, that was really cool, is the shoe purchasing experience, I think, for a lot of women or a lot of people, is going to somewhere and trying on a number of different shoes and being able to see which ones they like and which ones they don't like. And while that's a benefit to shopping in person. And I think one of the challenges with online shopping is you would normally order the things specifically that you thought you wanted, and you would get them home, and you would try on the things that you 100% wanted, but you didn't get to try on the things that you weren't positive about. Those might be cool, but I really need to try them on before I get them. And this basically takes that experience and delivers it to your door, so you don't have somebody kind of nagging you to make that purchase, especially if it's a higher end shoe or something like that. There's no salespeople, there's no pressure. You get to take all these shoes, have them sent to your door, even the ones you're not sure about, try them on at your convenience in your own house with different outfits, and you take something that was previously a benefit to another, like the in-person experience, and you transition that benefit through the guarantee to your e-commerce transaction.
For sure. And with that, that changes something from being super, super risky to the customer. If the choice was, like, if you think about it, the choice was zero guarantee from Zappos, right? If that was one option, right? Then you think about it with that, you're going, why would I then buy the shoe online when I could, now it's worth the risk, or it's worth the time investment to go to the store, try it on there, make the purchase there, because I now, like, as the customer, I now have my risk is the small amount of time to go to the store, right? Like, that's my investment. I'm spending that time to do that, but I have no risk of ending up with shoes that don't fit, right? So, but by taking away that risk, now you're able to make it so that the shopping experience, you don't have to spend the time. So you actually don't have to invest your time in going to the store to try it on. You can just order it from your home, have it shipped to you, try it on, like you were saying, like try it on different outfits, et cetera, and send back anything that doesn't work. And now you actually, by doing that, you've actually made a situation where you save the person time, allowing them to try it on at their leisure in their house with different outfits, and taken all of the risk from the cost associated out of that. So it becomes essentially, at that point, because of that, you end up with, not only do they not have a monetary risk, but it saves them time, right? So that's almost a better than money back guarantee, because there's no risk on them, right? And no time investment.
And that really opens your doors to other potential customers that don't have time to come in and try on 30 pairs of shoes, like single moms or single dads, or busy entrepreneurs or busy executives. Like, there's all these subsets of people that didn't have the time available to go and come to the store and shop and find a parking spot and do all these different things that are so time consuming. It just opens another market segment that you probably couldn't access before, or you had a more difficult time getting in touch with.
For sure. And when we think about these offers, so we kind of have the base one that we talked about off the beginning of the show. It's like everyone kind of does a 30-day money back guarantee. And when we think about that, if we're talking about a physical product, if we do just a 30-day money back guarantee with no us as the brand taking care of the shipping element, then we haven't taken all the risk out, right? So in order to make it fully risk-free, we would really need to ensure that when the return is done, that it's going to be, the return cost is going to also be paid for by the company, right? And obviously that there's no restocking fees or any sort of thing like that, right? So we start going, okay, how can we take all the risk off of the customer? And then from there, like, that would be kind of the base. If you can take all of that risk off, then the big thing is use that guarantee and put that front and center and really use that to help convert customers. Like if you have a guarantee that's that good, do not hide it. You know what I mean? If your guarantee is kind of, the lame, everyone has a guarantee, like 30-day money back guarantee, and then you don't do anything for shipping and they have to pay to ship it back and all that. Yeah, you probably don't want to put that front and center, right? Because it's not better than everyone else. But if you've got something like, if you can beat your competition in that offer, you want to use it to help sell. And so if we think by giving that, if we can get them to completely zero risk, right? That's one way of using it. Then there's ways of looking at it and going, how can we want to take that to, the next level? How can we make that guarantee better, right? Better than zero risk, right? And it really comes down to the what element is guaranteed. So how much, if you will, they get if things don't work out. So if they don't like the product, how much do they get? That's one way to increase the value they get and lower the risk, and actually put it to the point where you're taking on risk. Not that you're, not that you're both basically even, but where you're taking on more risk and they actually have less than zero risk, right? They want to get into that position. It means you'd want to give them more of something if it didn't work out. Or the other piece is to give them a longer period of time. If you want to make a normal money back guarantee even more enticing, it's increase the time available. So if you want to take a look at that, say, to talk about the time one, because it's really, really simple, but very, very interesting, is if you have, say, a 30-day money back guarantee, if you make that, say, 90 days, or you make that a 1 year, or you make that a 5 years or a lifetime, right? Like when you change that length of time, the guarantee seems much more valuable, right? So if you say that you have a year to return this versus 30 days, it's going to seem much more valuable. And what's interesting about that is that in most cases, the longer when you make that time frame for a return longer, you do not increase the number of people who use it. Often, you actually lower the number of people who use the return, because if you say to someone, take this, and obviously, you can return it anytime in the next year. No one's putting, say, like a little, notification in their calendar saying like, oh, return, if I don't like it, return this product by a year from now. Do you know what I mean? And if they are, what are the chances that calendar and that event shows up on a day that they're not going to do it, right? Whereas a 30-day guarantee, people are very likely, especially if you're selling any sort of digital product, but if you're selling even a physical product, people can easily just throw that on their calendar for a month from now, and then it's all very top of mind. They get the product, and they're going, am I going to return it? Am I not? Like, I have to make that decision, and they actually have this time crunch, so they actually do make the decision. Whereas if you give them a long time or a lifetime to do it, how many people are going to, with that? What, you can't put a notification in your calendar if you can return it in a lifetime. Right? There's absolutely no way to have like a day that someone has to take action to return it by. So it's looking at, can you get more value, can you get a higher conversion rate and convert customers who are a little bit more skeptical by giving them a longer time frame? And if that time frame actually doesn't result in higher returns, but you can get more conversion out of it, it's a very interesting exercise to go through, and a thought process to go through when it comes to your guarantees that you're offering.
Totally. I think that's a split test that almost like everybody needs to run at some point. And if you're dealing with somebody else whose business it is, and you bring up the idea of having some sort of like, really strong guarantee, you're going to get a lot. And initially, you're going to see a ton of like pushback, like, oh, I can't afford to be covering all these and blah, 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 blah. But like Rob mentioned earlier, is that the percentage of people that take you up on these offers is so small. But if done properly, the lift in conversion would more than cover any increase in returns. And, if you do encounter this kind of like pushback, or even you're even thinking like, well, I can't afford to do something like this, there's ways that you can structure your guarantees so that they're contingent on certain certain conditions. So whether that's like you need to execute X, Y, Z before, and prove that you've used it in such and such way, before you're even eligible to get, like, especially when they're the super over the top guarantees, like double your money back and stuff like that. Do you have any specific ways that you like to structure these, Rob, so that you can mitigate the risk from people who are just basically going out there and trying to take advantage of these types of risk, like over the top risk reversals?
Yeah, so the first one would be the time frame one. I think the easiest thing to do is if you currently offer a 30-day money back guarantee, if you're worried about the risk, if you're worried about essentially the liability that you're creating for yourself by making a lifetime return policy, right? The way to just do it is start to incrementally increase the length of time. So I currently have a 30-day one. Let's just change it to 90 days. Let's see what that does to my conversion rate. And then let's see how many more returns, if any, I get in the 90-day time frame, because you can actually measure that very easily. And if it's fine, you keep going. You go, okay, now we're going to do 180 days, so 6 months. Now we're going to try a year and just see what happens. You can actually do that very systematically. So that's the way I would ease my way into that without creating a situation where you're like, I'm currently doing 30 days. If I do a year, am I going to go broke doing this, right? Like, that's an easy way to just increase that. Make sure though you take your 30-day guarantee, make your 30-day guarantee awesome, and use it on your sales pages, on your product pages, on your checkout pages, everywhere you can, to make sure that you're getting the full conversion benefit from it. Then test making that, say, a 90-day, and then a 6 months, and so on and so forth, because that way you're actually comparing using your guarantee well, so I would definitely do that. When it comes to the other side of the how do we make this guarantee better, it's the how do we make it bigger, if you will, or how do we make it so that they're not taking on any risk, but they're actually taking on negative risk. So with that's exactly what you were mentioning, say, with a double your money back guarantee, right? Or something like, say, buy this product, try it for 30 days, 60 days, a year, whatever this is, right? Try it for, I'm just going to say 30 days for the example. So buy this product, try it for 30 days. And if you don't like it, send it back. You get all your money back, plus you get blank, for your time, for giving it a shot, for whatever, right? And so essentially you're giving a bonus offer when somebody tries the product and it doesn't work, or they try the product, they don't like it, or whatever. So essentially larger money back guarantee, or this bonus piece. So in those cases, you're essentially, what I recommend is that you have, let's say you're doing double your money back guarantee, right? It's an aggressive risk reversal, right? Like, you're literally saying, try this product, costs $100, try it for 3 months. If you don't love it, you get double your money back. Well, that is risky, quote unquote, right? It's risky to us as a brand. But what we can do is we can essentially do a conditional double your money back guarantee, but we still have an unconditional regular money back guarantee. So essentially what happens there is, like, let's say that we have let's say we have a piece of exercise, machinery, right? So we've got like some sort of exercise machine or something like that, just off the top of my head, I'm picking that. But so let's say that we have that. A way to do that is you say, hey, buy this product, try it for 90 days. If you don't get, X results, or you don't get whatever, then, send it back and get double your money back. Well, when they first get the product, right? Obviously it's an exercise machine. So you obviously have to have the stipulation of, before starting any exercise program, make sure to visit your doctor and da-da-da-da-da. There's all that sort of piece, right? That has to happen in how you write up your documentation anyways. So if someone's going to start an exercise routine, they need to go and see their doctor and then do it. So technically that's what they would have to go through, and then they'd have to use the machine. So you could have when somebody sends it back to get double their money back, they need to show that they went and got their physical and they got cleared for exercise. That would be a really simple one. Or you could say that, or you could have something along the lines of using using this logbook and tracking it. Or you could make it like a fun social media one where you're posting, a picture and hashtagging something. So you make kind of like a challenge. So you make like a 90-day challenge using your product. So buy this product and complete the 90-day challenge. And if you don't get X result, you get double your money back. Now they need to post something every day or every week and they hashtag it, so they need to show some proof. So you have different ways to put a condition in place to get double the money back. And then you have the unconditional piece of, if they just send it back because they don't like it or for whatever reason, you get your money back, right, within that time frame. So if it's a 90-day double your money back based on a condition and a 90-day no questions asked money back, that way no one can really be unhappy, because if they don't take the action, they don't do the thing, they don't do the challenge, they don't go to the doctor, whatever that mechanism is you're using, you go, no problem, here's your money back. So that way they're not unhappy because they didn't go through the challenge, they didn't use the product, so they can't really be unhappy they didn't get double their money back. And now you're actually only giving double your money back to people who actually used your product and didn't get any result from it in whatever time frame it is. Which, if you have a really quality product or a quality program or quality whatever it is you're selling, then you're going to make that time frame something that they should get the result or should enjoy that product if they actually used it properly for whatever length of time. And then the number of people who are actually going to do that and not get the result or the enjoyment or whatever is going to be quite low. So you're not likely to give double your money back to almost anyone. And anyone who tries to take advantage of it is just going to end up with the regular money back guarantee, not double your money back guarantee, because they aren't going to have gone through the hoops of actually doing it.
Yeah, that's great, man. There's other interesting ways, like depending on what you're selling too, that you can structure your guarantees, especially like if you're selling digital products, like courses and stuff like that, that are being delivered over time. You can have some crazy guarantee or like multiple guarantees kind of like stacked on top of each other, where the unconditional money back guarantee ends at like 30 days, but the program really, you want to have value being delivered over that first 30 days as well, but like you don't get the complete course or the complete program for 60 days. And then in order to qualify for like your double or money back guarantee, like you said, you need to demonstrate that you executed the 60-day challenge or something like that. And that kind of allows you to get rid of the looky-loo potential like fraudsters that just want to get your digital products and then do refunds. And it also gives you the ability to really push out that premium guarantee that'll push people over the edge that feel like they want to, that there's no way that this couldn't deliver the results for them if you're willing to offer such a crazy offer.
For sure. And I think that there's a lot of opportunity for brands to think about this, and as a good exercise to go through is how can we offer a conditional better than money back guarantee with the money back guarantee backup. And then if you can create that offer and figure out that offer that really works, and what's cool is that offer, the conditional piece means that more of your customers are going to actually buy your product and use it properly, which means more people should get results from that product in a timely fashion, which means more people are actually going to write positive reviews, testimonials, etc. from that. And when you take it and do that kind of, like we were both talking about there, like say a challenge as kind of a fun way to build using your product in with marketing your product in with a better than money back guarantee, is that you're going to have all of that additional social proof along with more success stories and reviews, along with you should have a significantly higher conversion rate, because you're literally offering better than zero risk. You're actually telling someone that you do this, you buy this, you do this. If it doesn't get you the result, you get more than your money back. That's better than zero risk, right? So it should make a massive difference in your conversion rate, and you're actually likely to get quite good customers because you're really showing that you're willing to put your money where your mouth is and that your product really works, right?
Totally. And I think people just love the idea that they're like not taking advantage of you, but that they're getting the way better end of the deal. Like there's like that the deal is so good that they can't lose, and that you're the only one that could possibly lose in this deal. Like there's some sort of like human psychology there, that people just love being the one getting the crazy deal and feeling like they took advantage of you almost.
Well, and even also the element of they're like, this must actually work, right? Like there's the massive like believability that this is going to actually solve their problem, or that this is actually the best blank. Like if this is a piece of apparel, it's not like you're going to get a result from it. But if you're saying like, buy this, wear this for not like, if we're thinking of the workout thing, maybe this isn't a piece of workout machinery. Maybe this is a piece of workout attire. Well, now you're saying, hey, wear this, wear this for the next 90 days, free workouts for the next 90 days and get X benefit. They're going, this must actually be the most effective, comfortable, etc. of this that you're claiming. They're like, it must be true, right? Because if it wasn't true, how could they possibly offer this?
Yeah.
And this is awesome. We've talked about trust before, right? And about how we add trust into our marketing in this day and age where we have all of these, kind of scammy drop shipping sites, etc. out there. If we think about, we're wanting to get that trust bank, if you will, up to a point where people believe what we're saying. Well, this is a really, really, really good way to actually lower the requirement of how much they have to trust that your product is going to solve their problem. It can actually accelerate the buying time from the time they find out about your product, service, etc., to the time they actually make a purchase, right? Because it doesn't take as many touch points, it doesn't take as much trust, right? As big of a bond, because they're like, wow, this company, this must really work, right? Because no one would offer this if it didn't actually work.
Totally. Yeah, it's they're powerful, man, and I think a lot of people are missing out by not including one prominently in their offer. So I know there's a lot of other things that we could talk about, and we could probably go into in depth on even like negative guarantees, probably on another episode here, because we're running a little late. But is there anything that you want to say to kind of sum up how people could go about implementing even the most basic guarantee in their business?
Very cool, man. Yeah, no, there's actually some really, really fun stuff that we have to go into at a later time, like deeper into a couple of these things. I think they're really, really interesting. But when it comes to just basic, what should you do from here to test some of this? Number one, just first off, take whatever guarantee you have right now, and as long as it's a good guarantee, take it and stop hiding it and start putting it front and center. That's the first thing, right? See if that makes any difference on your conversion rate. If it's not a great guarantee, it's probably not going to make a meaningful difference, but put it up there, use it to sell it. Then you go, how can I improve this guarantee so that I'm truly taking the risk off of my customer? Because that's going to make a big difference. Actually think about it from the customer's point of view and go, how can I actually remove all the risk, right? Then I would do that. Then the next thing I would do, honestly, is I would actually take that and I'd start testing duration. If I don't want to go into the better than money back guarantee, then what I want to do is I want to start testing duration. So I want to go, instead of 30, can I make this 60, 90, etc. I'd start going down that rabbit hole. And then the other one, which you could do before testing the duration if you wanted to, is how do I make this a better than zero risk to my customer? How do I do that challenge, that conditional piece, that conditional with unconditional? Pick the time frame that actually works, that someone should get results from your product, that they should be able to see the value in the product, and do that, and then start testing duration, right? If you need to. So that's how I would approach it. So really put it front and center, then make sure it's completely taking the risk off, and then either try and be better than money back. So go conditional with unconditional. So go that route, or start testing duration. If you don't want to test the better than money back, then just start testing longer duration and see what you can get out of it. But I personally would love to see as many brands as possible go through the exercise of how can we make this guarantee better than zero risk to our customer, and put that front and center and see what happens to your conversion rate. because that can massively, massively change things when you get that guarantee strong.
Love it, man. Cool. So if people are looking to get in touch with you, Rob, where can they find you?
Awesome. Yeah, you can find me on Facebook, on Instagram, at Rob J. Green Official, or on my website, robjgreen.com. And how about you, Ryan? Where can they track you down?
You can find me on Twitter at Rye McKenzie, RYEMCKENZIE, or on Facebook at The Rye McKenzie.
Awesome, man. Love it. This was a lot of fun actually talking guarantees and risk reversal and all that sort of jazz. I'm excited to dive deeper into some of those subjects. But this was a lot of fun, man. I look forward to our next call.
Until next time.